Hello. I'm today presenting my project that I'm working on with my colleague Jonathan Good. Jonathan is an architect who's experienced in conservation and retrofitting heritage buildings. He leads his practice, Lulay Architects, where he contributed to the conservation and retrofitting of renowned heritage buildings in the UK. And myself, I'm a researcher, and I come from architecture background by training and practice. And my research, my PhD focused on participatory residential design from a very sociocultural perspective. And then I joined a number of research projects that looked at carbon reduction and sustainability with integration or from a community engagement approach. And this project, Beyond Metrics, is a project at a very early stage, so I'm sharing it with you today to get feedback to help us in developing the project through the future stages. So there is one. So our aim from this project is to support a radical change in the approach for sustainability in architectural design, and focus on with a focus on the transformation in design practices, architectural design practices, with a focus on these transformations through the use of low carbon materials. And our concern is the limitation in the discourse around using low carbon materials to the potential environmental performance of these materials, which is normally measured against quantified targets and standards such as BREEAM and Passive House standards, which are great in guiding the design process and guiding the carbon reduction during the design process. But not knowing how low carbon materials can integrate into the creative facet of design can limit the kind of solutions that could be proposed in architecture. And the significance of looking at this gap is transgressing the universality of the alternative solution that could be produced, and providing the tools for architects to reflect their subjectivity and their creative dimension during the design process. And that reflects through the technical details they produce and also the aesthetic qualities that they are integrated in the design. We built on ambitious architectural precedents, vernacular and contemporary attempts that integrates or approach the use of low carbon materials through through an approach to an ecological design approach. And one of the very famous architects in this field is Yasmin Nari, and she provides great examples of how ambitious the use of low carbon material could be integrated with community engagement and in harmony with the surrounding environment and ecological system. And we look at the ecological system as or ecological design as a design that attempts to integrate the built environment with the community and nature in a harmonious and in a holistic system. But harmony in architecture is normally addressed as the integration of nature into the built environment and how the design allows this integration to happen, and limitedly looked at through how the built environment and the physical elements of the built environment facilitate this harmony. And accordingly, we look at how low carbon materials as an element of the built environment connect with elements of harmony and elements of the ecological system where sustainable architecture should be integrated. So we look at how the low carbon materials relate to resources, How do they help in the efficient use of resources? How do they allow the reuse of materials, minimize the impact on Earth? How do they relate to climate? How do they relate to or support space in its social role? How does it support space in bringing people together or support the healing role of space and design? How does it allow coexistence of elements of an ecological system? So how does it allow the integration, a mutual relationship between humans and the built environment? How does it allow support biodiversity? And in this question, we look at low carbon material design through how the creativity of the technical details and also the aesthetic details. And I would take, like, for example, the use of timber. And from my architecture background, from practice background, and also from research, timber is a highly recommended material as like for sustainability and carbon reduction. But in different locations, it can have a different meaning and a different approach in design. So here in the UK, it can be used as a sustainable construction material, and it's known for its ability to be reused, and it's known for its low carbon and low embodied carbon. In other locations where it could be more, there's more depth in timber, it could be dry areas, even if the wood is available locally and it has lower, or still have its lower embodied carbon and it have lower U value, but still its limitation as a resource makes the approach for using it in design totally different from, instead of using it as construction material, it's used as an aspect of delicacy in detailing. So it's a totally different approach in design when looking at it in different systems and different ecological systems. And our approach, and because in ecological design, in community engagement is quite central, we are looking at, or we aim to construct collective concepts about what harmony in architecture is and how low carbon material could be used within this system. So we're going to integrate the knowledge of experts from different knowledge backgrounds, experts who are engaged in low carbon material and zero carbon design, including engineers, designers, suppliers, sustainability consultants, builders, manufacturers, and also members of the community. So non-experts, and integrate them all in a conversation, in a process of knowledge exchange. And to do this, we are planning for a participatory approach to allow this engagement to happen, and we're going to rely on visual artifacts. First, as representation of this integration between the physicality of the built environment and the social and intangible dimensions of their presence in the community, in order to reach deeper to intangible dimensions of their presence within the construction process, within their use as spaces, and also as a creative tool to allow non-experts, but also people from different backgrounds to reflect and to engage in a creative process of thinking about new dimensions of using the low carbon materials. The approach aims to take 2 stages. So the first stage is learning from heritage buildings and understanding how the low carbon materials were related to elements of the ecological system by that time, but during at the time where they were constructed, how they were related to resources, the climate by that time, the spatial agency or the social role of space, and also the kind of biodiversity and connection with nature that they allow. And from there, we're going to construct a framework for a systematic understanding of the integration of low carbon materials in design. And We're going to test it and refine it to understand how they could be integrated in the contemporary context of design practices. That also integrates testing it within rural contexts and also urban contexts. The areas of impact that we aim from this project is first the community. So integrating the community in the production of a new vision of the use of low carbon material and the production of an image of harmonious architecture within the certain context, social and ecological context. And for practice, facilitating or providing knowledge and skills for designers and for also knowledge for manufacturers for how the low carbon materials could be used creatively during the design process. Theoretical impact is while architectural harmony is often addressed as the integration between nature and also as through their social value. We look forward to produce new knowledge that highlights how low carbon materials can contribute in ecological design as a dimension of harmony, which is largely overlooked. Thank you.